Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Overwatch League 2019 season. I am Achilios, back on the cast with Wolf. It is time for the Boston Uprising to go up against the Shanghai Dragons, still vying for that first match win. First two series, unfortunately for them, did not go to their benefit, so still going to be on that losing streak, but they're looking to turn it around against Boston.
That's right, Shanghai, you know, it's the 042 story everyone's talking about, but I think we do have to even push this further forward and start wondering, will they make playoffs here in stage one? If they lose this match here, it starts to become less and less likely, right? I mean, everyone wants them to get their first win, but I think looking ahead, they want much more than a single series win. Yeah,
still have to take those baby steps, try to get that win, then snowball that into some more victories, and then get to those stage playoffs. We'll see if they can do it. Of course, do have Gamsu going up against his former team of the Boston Uprising. Made his debut just last week, and go ahead and take a look at some of the words he had on Twitter.
Yeah, saying you guys will always be family to me. I'll see you guys on stage. He's excited to begin the 2019 season with the Shanghai Dragons. Very much a respectful tweet to his former teammates, looking to take the win tonight, Shanghai's first. It's a very meaningful night for him as well as Shanghai in that regard.
Oh, for sure. Well, Gamsu, we've gone ahead. We've taken a look at his tweet. Let's take a look at the rest of his team. So, guys, give a warm welcome to the Shanghai Dragons.
It's been a tough first few matches for the Dragons. Two really strong teams they faced and lost. Now, with their best chance of the three to take a series against Boston, it still feels like this might be another loss. It might be another tough one. They've had issues with the tank line. Even with Gamsu returning, the stats do not lie. And, you know, it's been questionable decisions. We've seen a lot of wrecking ball from him. And they were crushed by the Titans. It's tough to come off of a loss like that where you were so one-sidedly dominated.
Yep, taking a look at the starting six here, though. Gregory going to be on that tank line alongside Gamsu, then TM at the DPS role with Ding, Homa, and Luffy to line things out. So can this squad right here, these six, deliver a victory? We're going to have to wait a little bit longer to find out, but first let's go ahead and take a look at their opponents on the day. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Boston Uprising.
The Uprising, such a great upgraded roster coming into this season. And the man right there, Color Hex, no longer suspended, will be eligible for play tonight. So going to be a huge upgrade for them in terms of the Zarya play. You have to expect Blase here. It's his birthday today as well. So got to be, you know, stressful but exciting to play on your birthday. And we will see Color Hex in our starting six. So already our New Zealand representation shooting up through the roof here.
Yeah, we have increased it massively with the addition of him to the starting lineup. So we'll have to see how he's going to take to the stage and whether or not Boston can get that victory. We know every team prepares super hard against the Shanghai Dragons because you don't want to be the first one to drop the ball to give them that victory. Boston Uprising have looked quite strong here at the beginning of the season, nearly taking down NYXL. Then a slightly closer series against the Houston Outlaws, which was a little bit of a question mark for them. So let's see how they bounce back from that and whether or not they can be dominant again here in this matchup.
Very excited to see how Color Hex performs as well. Note had a fantastic match last week. Just totally hounding down his opponent's supports on the Diva, finding and killing them in the backline. He's very good at that. And of course, Aim God. You know, we've cast him a lot in Korea in the past. Very strong flex support, especially on the Ana when he does get an opportunity to use it. And against the style here of Gamsu and the rest of the Shanghai Dragons, I think there's a high chance we will see that Ana come out at some point.
We'll have to see. Time will tell. See what these guys are going to piece together. See where we're going to be going for the series here in just a moment as we flip through the starting six on either side. The Dragons, good to see smiles on their faces, keeping those spirits high, keeping motivated. Of course, a very large cheer here for Gregory. He's been the face of this organization since she joined the team. But here we go, let's take a look at the map set presented by Toyota to see where we are headed. It's going to be Ilios to kick things off, then Kings Row for Hybrid, back to Horizon for you and I for that Assault map, and we'll round things out on Rialto unless we can get to Game 5.
Hate to be the guy to bring this up, but I feel like the Shanghai Dragons, this is not the map pool for them. They don't have Busan until potentially Tiebreaker, and they do not have maps that suit their aggressive playstyle, looking for line of sight on Widow, for example. This is a very 3-3 heavy map pool, especially when you look at King's Row, when you look at Rialto, and Shanghai has just not been running a ton of that. They have not been running it successfully, and with Color Hex back in the lineup here for Boston, it feels the map pool heavily favors them.
Well, to see how they fare. We're a bit outclassed by Vancouver the last series out. Let's see if they have learned and improved from that.
Already, Shanghai Dragons doing, well, they were showing it at first. The Wrecking Ball there coming through, which we've seen a ton of from Gamsu to start things off, especially on Control. But he's going to be going back to his trademark Winston here. We will see this opening with the Pharaoh Widow.
Yeah, we'll be moving over to that. So Pharmacy has always been, quite good overall into the 3-3 style, but Boston will be changing things up. Color Hex rather going to be shifting over onto that Sombra.
And with Blase on the Wrecking Ball here, they're going to try to use Disruption to the rest of the squad, mostly avoid the Pharah.
Oh, good shots there from Ding. Opens things up with the kill onto Color Hex. That's going to be Boston playing way back over towards the dropship.
I got to be honest, I don't think the composition the Boston Uprising has chosen here is appropriate to deal with this air threat that Ding has brought to the table. There's no real long distance damage. What they're trying to do is collapse on the rest of the Shanghai Dragons and get kills there, get a win there, and then get onto the point, trying to avoid Ding. But Ding has such a good angle on this map that's tough.
Just going to be ignoring the Widow for now as the Diva goes by. It's a couple shots, but DM overall still going to be all right. Looking for the headshot onto AimGod, can't quite line it up. He'll fade his way over onto the point where Boston's trying to get the flip. Axiom, however, going to be taken down. No's going to be knocked out of that mag. Shanghai Dragons finding success overall. Color Hex trades back onto 2. They are in onto the point, but they're not getting that flip coming through yet. Ding dropping into the back. Picks up the little mini pack here. Flip still not happening. Blase going lower and lower. Now is trying to get out of there. Getting hounded down, however, will be finished off. Couple more shots from Ding. Scoops up the kill onto the Sombra. Boston struggling to get over onto the point.
The biggest problem here for the Boston is how long they spent on that fight. Color Hex really almost turned it around. We were on the knife's edge. He has an EMP ready for the next fight. That's huge because Luffy does not have Transcendence available, so there's no counterplay here. They should be able to use this to flip the point. If they fail here, though, big trouble with 60% already given over to the Shanghai Dragons. This has to be at this moment here.
Well, sees the remake, will go ahead, pop out. EMP's ready to go. Dumps that one in, catches multiple members of Shanghai. Both supports going to be taken down. The hack on the Gamsu just for good measure as he goes off the side. Flip getting ready to roll through. Geggery just going to go in onto the point and get that reset.
The saddest thing you'll ever see is a Zenyatta at 99% of a trance dead after the EMP lands. No counterplay, no potential to hold on there. But
look what Shanghai's got coming online.
You're exactly right about that, Achilios. The big 6 coming through. And Kellex needs to position well against the EMP. If he can get that barrier off, they've got a good shot here of holding this point.
A lot of damage. A lot of focus fire there on the Axiom. Goes low, pops that Primal Rage, is trying to get out of there, but Ding comes in from behind. Rocket to the back of the head. Takes him out. Now no maintain. Blase still going to be alive. EMP does get thrown in, but DM's instantly going to get picked. They manage to find AimGod, but Luffy receives a pile driver. Someone gets the res off onto the M, the barrage, knocking Note out of that mech, but they need so much more than this to get the flip back through into their favor. Primal Rage is out from Gamsu over onto the point. Blase trying to dance around this pillar, but Ding finds the shots and takes it out.
Kellex got the sound barrier off, but it didn't matter because there was already an opening pick. It was a fight they were going to lose no matter what. They buy a few more seconds here, but these are staggered deaths now. Color Hex, unfortunately, too far away to build the last part of that EMP. He's got 35% left he's gonna need before they can get in, and Luffy's holding the trance. So this next attack for the Uprising is not gonna be easy, especially AimGod taking this much damage. Here we go.
Yep, they're in onto the point. Color Hex getting closer and closer. Luffy going low, still hacks out. Transcendence though will be able to be cast. Comes back in now. Gonna get picked off. Color Hex does have the EMP ready to roll. Throws it down. Luffy instantly going to get dropped. Comes over to the side of the translocator to keep himself safe. Geggery's gonna get popped out. It's OT here. Self-destruct zones him off. OT starting to take away faster and faster. Geggery makes it back into the back. The Boston Uprising, they have so many members in onto the point, but will it matter? That EMP comes in. DM catches the 4 remaining people. No supports available as Kellex goes down. Gamsu tapping his way to that next kill. Primal Rage gonna be popped. Has the corner here, looking for the finish onto this Diva. Pop out is there. Note gonna be vulnerable. Ding is still playing forward. Blase manages to knock Geggery out, but Gamsu gets Note. Color Hex gonna be gone. Blase taken down. Shanghai getting the flip back at 99%. It's coming in closer. The barrage, just for good measure. Boston Uprising with only AimGod alive at the moment. Can he tag in? Even if if he does, he's not going to last long enough for anybody else to string through here. Shanghai Dragons, 164, will take the first round of Achilios.
You know, the Sombra versus Sombra definitely in Color X's favor for the majority of the match, but he could not alone carry his team. And the Shanghai Dragons will take the first round.
That they do, but can they take the first map? We'll find out when we come back. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the second round of Achilios. Shanghai Dragons going to be looking for the closeout right here. Get that 2-0 to kick things off with a victory.
This is the first time we're going to see the 3-3 versus 3-3 mirror. With Color Hex on the Zarya, this is kind of where the idea of how well can he dominate now that he's back, now that he's no longer suspended. How well can he play? Because we saw the Sombra matchup earlier, he was winning that. But with now him kind of cemented into this roster, this normal composition, this is the big question that will probably define the rest of this series.
Not only that, but the 3-3, again, a little bit weak in the last few series here for the Shanghai Dragons. At the moment, though, looking to get that first cap. We'll be able to lock down the point. So we fight right here by the ramps. Geggery just playing onto the low ground. Defense Matrix trying to deny what she can. Jump into the back, Gamsu. Nice little land. Tries to come to the rescue of that Diva. Seems like Geggery will be able to hold on to the mech at least for a little bit longer. Zap's coming in. They get the focus in on the Calyx. Jump back forward. Can't quite get the kill. However, he barely manages to survive. Support ultimates surging forward on the side of the boss and Uprising, but it might be a little bit too late. Axiom will get dropped by Luffy, but Aim God fires back, negating that pick off onto the main tank line.
Note's about to have self-destruct. He can use this to stagger this point out.
Rally now out for the Shanghai Dragons. Plaza gonna get taken down. Aim God eliminated as Luffy comes up with another kill for him. Wilson Uprising cannot get onto the point. They cannot get the flip yet.
Very close call there. You mentioned the support ultimate surging forward for the Uprising. Blase had an incredible turn there on the Brigida, kept everybody alive. The armor pack on Axiom to prolong his life. Then the rally that came through, but the Shanghai Dragons had more consistent pick potential. Now they have a grab online as well as 55% of this point. Gonna have to see Aim God counter that grab, or it's gonna be lights out here. Shanghai gonna take this first map. This is the fight that Boston needs to turn with, or it's all over here.
Yep. So far, so good. Dropping down, Axiom in onto the point. Graviton Surge ready to go for the M. Playing forward, trying to build up that energy, throws it straight in onto the wall. Manages to lock them down. Color Hex a bit further behind for a grab of his own. Transcendence has come out from Aim God, but Calyx gets picked. That's gonna be a sound barrier. Not in the fight for Boston. As they try to hold on, Aim God under a lot of pressure, going to be taken down to the back line by DM. Now Tang manages to find Note as he gets popped out of that mech, and it's just going to be cleanup time. Shanghai Dragons, 85% looking for the 2-0.
It looks likely nearly the big 6 here as well. Sure, we saw the counter coming through the Graviton Surge from DM, but Shanghai was able to win every aspect of that fight, ultless right afterwards. There's no way that Boston could crack this open, barring a huge mistake. They're going to open with a sound barrier to touch the point.
Sound barrier is out. Aim God on taking some fire here. Finds his way back. No, in onto the point. Does have the self-destruct. Will have to use it to get back into the mech. Not going to be able to find any kills. Gamsu's here. Being pushed back. Primal Rage out. Bomb. Not going to get anything for Geggery, but she makes it back though. Looking for the knockback. Color Hex, welcome to the Overwatch League. Say goodnight. He goes off the side. Axiom now going to get dropped. And the Shanghai Dragons are slaughtering Boston Uprising. They will take Ruins. They will take Achilios and kick things off for the win.
Not even close here. Absolute better ult economy coming out from the Dragons. Gamsu looks like a real leader tonight. It feels like they're closer than they've ever been to that first win.
Well, it's still just one map. Geggery give it away, feeling pretty darn good after that. Let's see if they can keep this ball rolling when we come back for the break, or if Boston can tie it up.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
How did you find out about the trade?
처음 팀을 이적하게 된다는 얘기를 들었을 때 갑작스러운 얘기라서 당황을 많이 했는데 있다 보니까 뭐 현실에 최선을 다하자 생각해서 이제 뭐 샹하이에서 최선을 다하겠다고 마음을 먹었어요.
There he is, looking a lot happier in this camera shot compared to that little clip. Gamsu, big old smile on his face.
Yeah, and he may, lead his team to victory for the first time against his former team. What an incredible story it would be. So much, shade thrown at Gamsu throughout the entirety of the inaugural season. And the trade here, a lot of people are saying it wasn't a great pickup for Shanghai Dragons, but especially from the Boston side of things. But what if he's actually the one to win it? What if Boston is the first team to lose the Dragons? We're still 2 maps away from that. But that's where we are. That's where we stand. And it's, it feels like of the 3 maps they've played, or 3 matches.
Crowd losing their minds a little bit over the thought of that. But we're one step. We're one step there. We're a third of the way. We need 2 more map wins, so let's not get a hold of let's get a hold of ourselves here, not get ahead of ourselves, rather. Boston getting ready to move on to King's Row. We'll have to see how they're going to fare here and if they can tie this up. Because I think that, honestly, at that point, if you go down 0-2 to Shanghai, it might just tilt you so much that you just end up losing that 3rd map.
No, I mean, no one's ever been really that close before. It's been a long time, right? So it's definitely something that you're going to have to think of. We do have some substitutions, though, that we're going to bring up here.
Take a look, and it will be Youngjin coming in over Geggery here for the 2nd map.
Coming in, very likely a D.Va-less setup we will see as we head into King's Row. Maybe that's the idea. Very unusual, though, to see that on King's Row. It's the map we see the most 3-3 on. It's the strongest map for 3-3 in the pool.
Could be. We'll have to see exactly what they want to do. Youngjin, as you're saying, like the Brigitte for him, usually one of the biggest picks, is one of the best Brigitte players that we had in Contenders Korea. So where he's going to fit in with this roster, in this lineup, the way that it's arranged at the moment, it's really hard to say what's going to be coming out.
He's the ultimate flex. He plays, he did play main tank in week 1, very briefly before Gamsu was a part of the roster, coming in as a very late addition. He's also very good at hit scan, very good Doomfist player, but again, most known for his Brigitte in this meta.
Well, map 1 out of the way. King's Row coming up next. Boston very hungrily going to be seeking a victory here to tie up the series and keep their hopes alive. Do not want to go down to match point against the Dragons. But I think they're going to be hungrier than ever right now, Wolf. It's their 3rd series of the season so far. They want to stop the meme short. They want to go ahead and pick up that victory right now in week 2.
Yeah. It's not a surprise to see the Shanghai Dragons with a massively upgraded roster and eliminated communication problems against languages do better and perform better, and a meta where the players they picked up have experience. I mean, we're talking about Luffy, Koma, some of the players from Kongdu Panthera that were considered in Season 2 of Contenders Korea to be the best supports in that meta, and they were considered to be on the team that was the best at running 3-3. They ended up losing to Runaway in the end. But again, when you look at this Shanghai Dragons, you have to remember this is a new, improved roster, and they want this to end now, as you say. Boston Uprising with Color Hex, though, once again on the Zarya, we will see this mirror come through, with the exception of Ding on the Sombra. D.Va-less comp, as we point out, with Geggery being subbed out. They will see the Sombra immediately, and that's going to put the pressure on the supports for the Uprising.
Now it's going to be swapping off over onto a Reaper. So definitely changing things up in a major way right now is the Uprising. Koma getting tagged up into that back line, trying to stay alive. Ding. Oh, gets caught in the doorway. Hoop back. Will have that translocator to get himself out of there. Youngjin goes for it. Manages to find Note, but a Color Hex trades it back. In the meantime, Boston are in onto the point. They get the first tick, the second one nearly there. Gamsu dead in the front lines. Color Hex gets another one, and Ding will be taken down. It seems like Boston Uprising on the first volley will just be able to cap A.
This is a ton of damage from both Blase and AimGod. The supports actually being the carries here. Note through a lot of the aggression from the Shanghai Dragons. He died, but that was bringing the focal point away from the real threats. Boston wins the sustain war with Blase's Brigitte hits. As you can see, he's at 83 compared to 36 coming out from Youngjin. So that matchup goes swimmingly for them. With no D.Va on the other side, no D.Va player, the Reaper here is a great choice because there's no damage mitigation against the lifesteal, big burst that can come into the tanks. As you can see here.
No D-Matrix for that Death Blossom when it does inevitably come out. pushing forward, playing way up onto the next corner here. Also Uprising trying to get themselves as much room as humanly possible to push that cart forward. Dragons starting to turn things around. Grab's gonna be coming down. Transcendence out. God keeps the team alive. Note was falling dangerously low. EMP's gonna be in, catches 3 members. Goms, however, still gonna be the first one taken down. Blase comes up with a kill to try to turn things around on the back of that enemy EMP, and yeah, it's not gonna lead to anything for the Dragons.
Now, unfortunately, they just weren't in position to capitalize. Boston Uprising with a massive lead now. And again, this is not Note doing damage. You can see he's only at 55% on the Reaper, but it's the threat of what he could do and the burst damage potential that keeps Shanghai Dragons positioning a little bit awkward, and that's why they weren't in range to capitalize on that EMP. A little bit disjointed, and Boston Uprising punishes.
Draft Surge gonna be coming down, locking up Young Jin. Despite the Transcendence, they will still be able to burn him down. DM manages to find Note. Sound Barrier now gonna be out from either side. No rally here as Young Jin was taken down. Gamsu's gonna get picked. They throw down the Graviton Surge, they lock them up, they manage to find Kelix, but that's all really they're gonna be able to get. Coma does manage to come up with one on the Axiom. That is gonna be the go button for DM to push forward and look for some additional kills. Gets a shot in, goes low, down below half HP, but he's got a support set to back him up. They maintain control of the cart.
Now, Ding is not a player to ever play Diva, right? So because Gregory is subbed out and we have Youngjin here on the Brigida, it's tough for him to actually go back to the Diva. Most teams are flexing their Divas onto Sombra, but in this case, Shanghai is unable to do so. So they're kind of trapped and stuck in this composition, and the Reaper is just the perfect choice to kind of keep them spaced out here. And by that I mean keeping them at range and making it so they can't collapse in when the EMP goes down. Boston is in a great spot here as a result.
I mean, will Note ever get a Death Blossom has got to be the question right now. I think we found a new measurement of time. Congrats, AKM. You're off the hook now.
Okay, look at this flank, though. He's looking for the supports potentially here. They do not see him.
Starts pushing forward, finds some shots there on the Youngjin, but instantly has to Wraith out because of that shield bash threat. Gamsu manages to find the Fire Strike there onto Axiom, finding the pick before the Transcendence can come through, and he'll follow up to get the Reaper as well. Getting closer to that next shatter.
Finally, Shanghai stabilizes after this fight. Note was, every resource was committed to locking him down there, which has kind of been the name of the game. But this time they win the fight with the EMP that follows up. He was stunned there, and then, of course, hacked from the EMP. He's going to have a Death Blossom in just a moment here, and they can put the bubble on him, old school Beyblade style, right? But if this fails, the Uprising is going to be super down on ultimates when they swap over. So this is a big moment here. This fight is going to be a huge turning point, one way or the other.
Graviton Surge, locking them up, finds the hits instantly. The team starting them out. Transcendence is out from Luffy just to make sure that they can stay alive. Still, long road ahead for the Dragons to complete this hold in front of B. 2:20 remaining on the clock, but Boston Uprising have not been finding much success.
DM was able to identify that Aim God did not have Trance there, so it was a pretty easy decision when there's no Diva on the other side. Again, there's Note is on this Reaper to just toss in the most obvious grab of all time. Now Boston Uprising comes back with the same ultimates here, right? So there's that big fight coming up here that didn't happen last time. They still have another opportunity here, but every time they miss the window, they miss the fight, time is ticking away. Note gonna try to approach from high ground here, it looks like. Ding is trying to scout this out. And, the cart rolls back, time is ticking.
More than half their time gonna be gone. Remember how big that time bank was. They got it on the first attack on A. So a considerable loss so far for Boston.
If they get EMP'd during the Death Blossom, it's going to be bad.
Hack looking there, right there on Axiom, can't complete it. They get the turnaround. Shatter comes out, but goes straight into the shield of Gamsu. Aim God does meant to find Youngjin. Kelix getting Ding, the support line for the Boston Uprising, pushing them over that finish line, or at least trying to. Delays into the back, but Coma will get taken down, and Boston will finally be able to push into B.
And they get to do it without really committing anything besides the shatter, so feels really good when things were actually starting to get a little bit out of hand, when their time bank was getting really small there, and they were really kind of pigeonholed in this one fight. They do it without the ultimates. They get to use them one more time here, as Note just continues to threaten on the high ground. Again, it's not about the Death Blossom itself, but the threat of the Death Blossom.
EMP is going to be coming down, catches so many members on the side of Boston Uprising. Aim God will pick up Transcendence for the shatter from Gamsu. Locks him up, Color Hex trying to kite his way back, but they say nay. They finish him off. Note just goes into the pit to try to get the reset.
That was very much a coordinated effort there between Ding there and
Gamsu.
And they keep the ults, as you say. The answers They certainly have them in terms of dealing with this Death Blossom, and it almost makes you wonder, has Boston held on to this for too long? Because they had a few chances, they had a few opportunities, but they just keep missing the boat.
Grab surge, gonna be coming out, locking him down. Sound barrier is in. Alex keeping the team sustained.
This has got to have to be it. This is gonna have
Rally
to be
from
it.
Young Jin. No pushing forward, still waiting for an opportunity. Gumsun getting taken so very low, but he makes it around the corner in time to stay alive.
Look at how much Shanghai has respects note here. They walk away, they're not going to fight into the Death Blossom with no defense matrix. And again, he's threatening the Blossom without actually using it. He's on the high ground now, he can jump down, they have to back off.
Dropping his way in, Graviton Surge does come through. Gumsun gonna be taken down. Note is gonna be spamming away. No need to use the
Here we
Death
go.
Blossom. Now goes ahead, throws it down, and he's gonna get stunned. He goes off the side. Coma drawing it back in here for their squad. Nearly gets Aim God as well, but couldn't quite put him in the pin. Axiom gets the pin there onto Young Jin. Aim God finds Ding, looking for the completion. Just under a minute remaining. They get a massive Graviton Surge on the members of Boston, but they need the kills to back it up. DM so far only able to find one. Gamsu going in for the charge. It's the bubble to try to stay alive. If he's been eliminated, Gamsu with a fire strike gets rid of Axiom. Push back forward from Note, however, swapping over onto the Wrecking Ball. Tries to carry that back in, but the shatter on the back of the EMP is absolutely huge. The Shanghai Dragons might actually be able to pull off this hold.
The synergy is so much better than it was last week between Gamsu and Ding. The EMPs always followed up by shatters.
They actually did it. 30 seconds still remaining. 0.9 meters away. Shanghai, can they stop them from completing King's Row?
The problem is the Uprising are going to approach your positional disadvantage. There's going to be so many roadblocks on their way in. And we are going to have a short pause here.
Yeah, such a tense moment. Coming in, 16 seconds remaining on the clock at the moment. Shanghai able to stabilize here, around B is looking very good. They start getting that push forward. They managed to come up with the clutch hold 0.9 meters away from the finish. Oh, this is close.
Not to mention that in terms of all the roadblocks they're going to have to go through before ColorX can even drop the grab, by the time he gets there, we're going to see most of Luffy's Transcendence build. I believe he's sitting at something like 70% or so right now, so it's not that far away from actually completing that, have that answer there. Yep. They're going to have Defender's Advantage and the respawns. Let's take a look at this Coma boot that we saw earlier.
Fantastically done. Sees Note right in the peripheral there. Sound barrier instantly on top of the Death Blossom.
Yes, and then just knocks him away.
Away. They almost got Aim God as well right here, but he's just a couple little inches left for him to land on. Otherwise, it would have been such a clutch play from Coma. I mean, this is what we expect from him. You think back to Contender Season 2 Korea, just he and Slime going back and forth with those boops into the Ilios well pit. But here we go, guys. We will be jumping back in.
Okay, Luffy a little bit lower than I thought. 59% currently of that Transcendence, so it feels like there's a bigger window than I thought for ColorX to get value out of this grab.
Forward. Grab instantly with a rally coming through, looking for DM. Oh, a little bit of a delay on that pin, but they do manage to get him in the end. Now it's going to be the sound barrier out. Ding, wishing that he had that EMP online. He's getting closer and closer, but now Gamsu's going to be taken down. A double kill going over to Axiom. Transcendence out from Luffy. Manages to get it ready. Shatter comes out. Not going to be catching anybody, but the EMP catches all 6, but they need the follow-up here, and DM is just now returning with no energy on this Zarya. Soma going to be taken down. Transcendence out from Aim God. They push DM away. They managed to get the completion here.
Very close call. They get the completion. Boston Uprising fans here, sighs of relief, but it's not over yet.
No, it is not. We have to see how Shanghai is going to fare on their attack when we come back from the break. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the Shanghai Dragons. Very close moments, but could not quite stop Boston Uprising from finishing King's Row. Was in overtime. So now, just going to be looking to get that full push with time in the bank.
Certainly a sinking feeling to have your Reaper strategy do so much zoning, but never really be able to push the kill button there for the Uprising. It was a really cool strategy, and I think we see too few Reapers actually utilized in such a way. Again, it's the threat of that burst damage that keeps Shanghai Dragons honest. And now we're going to see on the defense here, Reinhardt, Zarya, pretty normal stuff. We'll probably see swaps here, yeah, from the Shanghai Dragons. Very feasible to see one grenade come out from Youngjin and then swap right afterwards.
Yep. Well, Shanghai is going to be swapping things up here. Receive confirmation. Shanghai was the one calling the pause there right at the end. But stabilized overall, but not enough to be able to close that out with the defense. But oh man, Luffy is going to be taking out Aim God. Now a hack over onto Axiom. Not going to be able to get a kill onto him yet, but they're pushing forward. Now they're going to be looking for it. Now DM will be able to come up with it. Dollar Hex, half HP, retreating over onto the point, but there's nowhere really to run. No one is safe from Luffy.
In this meta, Achilios, it's very snowbally. When you get an opening pick like that, Luffy wins the trade. He stands now, in the longer fight, while he's doing consistent damage, he stands 60% ahead of Trance Charge. So even if Color Hex were able to get a grab by living longer in that fight, he'd already have the answer. Ding as well benefits massively from this, and we'll have an EMP online to contest past this choke. See where he is right up there on the high ground. He's going to flank from behind to set up the EMP that opens up the streets phase. They know where he is, however.
Yep, just goes in for the hack there onto Aim God, but no way to capitalize.
Very tricky what Ding's doing right now, just staying in one place so they can't track where he is. Now he's hiding behind his teammates. Here we go.
Goes forward, catches everyone. Axiom going to be the first one to fall. Now Color Hex and Blase both taken down. Aim God manages to get Youngjin, but that's as good as it's going to get for the Boston Uprising at the moment. Nope, just going to be finished off.
And this is what goes back to what I was saying about Aim God having no trance. Because it's not like Boston messed that fight up. It's almost impossible to track where Ding was. Well, you could argue they could have split, but that means that Dragons just push through for free. But there's the only way to counter that is support ultimates. When you don't have either of them, you know, the 6-man EMP is going to be a team wipe. It's going to be devastating.
Yeah.
And it's also efficient. And the Shanghai Dragons get way more ultimates during that fight as well. And they are steamrolling right now. They are on their way to a massive time bait with completion.
Yeah, they are. Grab nearly up for DM. Couple more shots. Ryan Shield denying this away from him for a little bit longer, but finally has the ult ready to go. Nearly 5 ultimates online for the Dragons. EMP gonna be the next one to come out. No, takes away the Graviton. DM not gonna be able to fight anything, but the shatter from Gamsu is gonna make up for it. Catches them, 2 kills instantly over. The sound barrier comes out from Kelix. They're gonna be stacking the ultimates with the Transcendence from Aim God, but I don't think it's gonna matter. Nope, gonna get popped out. Gamsu swinging away like a madman. Doesn't even know which way to look, but it doesn't matter. Takes him out.
When you have this many ults advantage, it doesn't matter if the grab is absorbed because there's just more and more coming. During that fight, Gamsu builds another shatter.
87%. Oh.
Ding has the EMP, so we've seen this combo work out a lot already, especially in this particular area. And it looks like they are absolutely going to utilize it here. We have to track where Ding is going to hit the EMP. Then we'll see the follow-up shatter. See where he's hiding there to the right side. They do not know where he is. This could be devastating.
Okay,
here he comes.
Catches him. He's holding it here, waiting for his opportunity. The bomb comes down. Now, just going to wait. 3 members gone. Not worth investing. Good restraint coming out from Ding.
And Boston Uprising sick plays here too because they see that there's a setup coming through and they notice that Shanghai Dragons looking for the perfect fight and they say, well, we're going to fight before you get that opportunity. Yep. They were decisive in that moment. Now they have the high ground controlled and suddenly Shanghai Dragons has approached a little bit tougher than it looked a moment ago.
Well, they're dropping down. They're going aggro here. Axiom pushing forward. This will be a really awkward EMP, but they dump it in anyway. MCOD gonna hit the floor, hack in on the Hexium, just making sure this Ryan can do nothing but hold left click, and it is not gonna be netting him. And he kills. A little bit of charge, getting closer to that Earth Shatter. With 4:15 on the clock, Shanghai Dragons getting ready to round the final quarter on Kings Row.
Sombra has been the X factor for a lot of these teams going into the first 2 weeks of the 2019 season. Players like Guard, BQB, now Ding, making high impact plays with the EMP, hitting the supports, maintaining that ult efficiency. And now they've got this grab online.
Raleig's going to be out from Blase. Shatter online from Axiom. Drops in the hammer. Nope, denies another Graviton surge away from Diab. Transcendence in from Luffy. Keeps everybody cocked up. And Axiom going to be taken out. Shatter comes down, locks up. Nope, the bubble comes in from the Zarya, but it's not going to be enough. He loses out on the mech. The cart continues to advance. Shanghai Dragons, an absolutely massive pine bank. Going to be looking for the finish. Transcendence is out from Aimgod. Coma going lower and lower, pushes his way over, gets that mini pack to try and stay alive. Kelix still playing forward, shields up from Gamsu, but it's not going to be enough. Grab comes in. This will be the cleanup you would expect here for the side of Boston Uprising as they stabilize.
Color Hex saves the day with this grab. They survived, they hit it before the support ults are ready. And now they have this cart, belongs to them for the first time in a long time. And I would love to tell the Boston fans that they have an advantage here, but all they have is positional advantages. They don't have ult advantages, and unfortunately, Aimgod doesn't have a chance for this EMP. Kelix has to hit the barrier. That's the matchup here. The barrier is going to have to save the day, or this map's going to end.
Dang, oh man. Barely making his way into this position. Oh, sees Blase, comes out around the corner. Captures everyone. Axiom taken down. Color Hex and Blase both drop. And that is going to be the final push you would expect. Sound barrier out from Kelix, just he and Note trying to stay alive. The grab will lock him up, they'll pop out the baby Eva, and they'll take her down. Color Hex shifts over, Shatter comes out, doesn't catch the Tracer, but they kill her off instead. And the Shanghai Dragons, they get the finish on King's Row.
Ding just absolutely smashing it, EMP after EMP. Kelix is caught, the barrier's too late, and the Shanghai Dragons are closer and closer to that elusive first win.
2.5 minutes for them. Let's see what Boston can do on the defense in overtime when we come back. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, 2.5 minutes of time bank amassed by the Shanghai Dragons. Boston Uprising in for one heck of a ride if they're gonna hold this off. One tick is all they need.
Let's take a look at where Kelix is trying to hide here. He knows the EMP is the most terrifying moment of this fight, so he's actually up here on this high ground hiding, but he's just barely clipped on the very edge of it, and that means no sound barrier until too late. 3 of his teammates are dead before he gets to drop it down. You could hear him break it down there at the end. Ding, currently 53 enemies hacked on this map alone. 34 of those were from EMPs. Insane performance on the Sombra at the moment.
Fantastically done by him. Efficiency on that EMP as well. Average catching, what, 4.25 people.
Yeah.
So, really good stuff from Ding. Already has slinked his way into the back line. Coma under some fire from the side. Ding will get hounded down as that translocator to try and jump out, but actually will just be safe. Works his way back out. 1 tick again is all that Shanghai need, with just shy of 2 minutes remaining on the clock.
Yeah, this is a really nice angle here for the Shanghai Dragons. They're going to heal up here with Coma's amp it up.
Ooh. Luffy taken down. That's a good start, but Axiom going lower and lower, but Aimgod does manage to get Gamsu there in transit.
I was actually Boston Uprising realizing that they were all low there, and it looked like Shanghai was going to amp it up there with Coma's healing, then basically throw down the gauntlet, go in for the fight, but Boston Uprising realized that everyone was low and they could actually commit in there, so a very decisive play. And that actually wins them, nets them the fight. Only a minute and a half here for the Shanghai Dragons to get that tick, but they're about to have big ultimates, the EMP, the critical one.
You can hear the audience cheering, let's go Dragons! Looking for that 2-0 start in the series. Halfway to that tick already right now. Axiom taken down. DM gets the double kill. Blase going to be eliminated as well. The Garbaton Surge comes in. Luffy taken out. EMP dumped in by Ding to try to turn things around. And it is going to work a treat. Note popped out. Eliminated. The tick comes through. And Shanghai Dragons lead the series 2-0.
No answer to the EMPs. Boston struggling to deal with Ding. And unfortunately, it's just not enough. And we are closer than we have ever been to Shanghai Dragons getting a match win.
One more win is all that they need. A closeout on Assault will give this team the first win in the history of their organization. Let's see if they can pull it off when we come back from the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered.
Blizzard Arena is going crazy right now as the Shanghai Dragons are currently up 2-0 over the Boston Uprising. It could happen, guys. History could be made. Malik here with Bren and Soe. Guys, I don't want to jinx anything. I kind of don't even want to talk about it.
Well,
but
we kind of passed that. You already announced it, so I
know,
because
it's my job, dang it. But guys, how do you feel about that first half? Was it everything you thought it was going to be?
That was a good showing. I mean,
yeah, but I feel like we've been there before. We've been burnt before. Like, I don't want to do it. I'm just saying.
We want to get over your life.
We need to come calm.
We've seen this movie.
We've seen it.
All right, well, guys, let's go ahead and jump straight into the highlights, starting off with Achilios. We saw Boston came out, Blase, the birthday boy. He had a play, but it was pretty much all Shanghai here.
Yes, it was. I was a bit confused as to what composition that Boston were coming out with here. Because Shanghai opened up, they ran this nice little Fire of Mercy composition along with the Widowmaker. They had a lot of long-range damage, and they had nothing to deal with any of it, really. And then we got to the second round, and it was just, honestly, a real masterclass from Shanghai in terms of just the way they were outmaneuvering Boston.
Yeah, and if we're looking at individuals, DM popped off. He really came awake on that Zarya. He had an average of 70% energy, and he was always some steps ahead of Color Hex, who really didn't get that much done. Ding popped up mad on his Sombra at the end there. I think we saw 2 6-man EMPs.
Yeah, he's honestly a phenomenal player. And honestly, Shanghai, we said this coming into the season, this is looking like a scary roster. Easily a mid-table team, maybe even higher right now. They're definitely proving it and showing it here today.
Right, yeah, Ding was crazy with all those hacks. All right, so what do you guys think needs to happen for Boston to turn this thing around?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, honestly, because they just seem a little bit out of sorts. Like, Color Hex has just come back in, obviously, after his suspension. Maybe that is part of the issue as well. They're not running with the usual lineup. They've got Axiom instead as well. They've got these new pieces in the squad, and I think that might be throwing off a little bit. I'm not too sure how much they've been practicing with those players themselves, but clearly something is off because they are really just struggling to kind of coordinate as a team as it stands.
Right, it's kind of crazy that one of the most high-pressure situations is not being the first team to lose to Shanghai. It seems like that.
It is right now.
But you know what time it is, guys, right? It's time for our insights powered by Intel. Bren, take us straight in.
This is it. This is the one right here.
This is the one.
I got a tasty little play. It talks about Shanghai Dragons on Achilios. I'm going to take you all the way back to the final round here. First, I'm going to point your attention to here, DM on the high ground. Very important. Boston Uprising, they recognize this. And as a result, they're going to have to move straight indoors. They want to avoid DM completely. So that's why they're taking this position in all here. Now, Shanghai, they know this. Pause it again real quick. You can see the position of Shanghai all around them in an arc like this. They're going to be surrounding, wrapping around Boston because they know which way they're going to be going. They predicted it already. Boston forced to play into the corner of the point here means that DM with his Graviton Surge is going to be able to get off an easy one here. Still risky because he has to use it in front of Note playing Diva, but he gets it off perfectly. And with that, he split up both Boston into 2 sections of the map. And if you notice again, I paused it here, as you can see, the position of Shanghai up top, they're nice and spread right above them. They can get loads of damage into the Graviton Surge, win the team fight out. And this is just one thing that Shanghai did to close out that map. And this is something they've been doing the entire series long, is playing really well with the positioning, just in general across this series.
Yeah, the communication of that team has improved so much. This is a completely different team we're seeing. And as Bren said before, they definitely have what it takes to go all the way up in the midfield and above.
Indeed, masterful by the Shanghai Dragons. So it's been 42 games in franchise history. Guys, is today the day?
You already know my answer.
Yeah.
I don't need to say, man. Of course it is.
Blizzard Arena, what do you think?
Today is the day.
The fans here seem to think so, but we're going to find out here in just a second, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just tuning in, then man, you got some catching up to do. Shanghai Dragons, 2-0 start over Boston Uprising. Got the win on Achilios, came back in, got the win on Kings Row. They are now 1 win away from getting their first match victory ever.
It's hard to believe, and we're going into Horizon, a map that can be very much a Sombra map if utilized correctly. And that's what's really been tearing Boston apart, is Ding with these EMPs, with these hacks, the backline picks. You know, it's also a map we could see Reaper, but it didn't go so well for the Boston Uprising when they were on their previous attack. Sure, the threat of the Blossom, the damage output there, Shanghai respected it, but it wasn't a time bank efficient strategy. It put them in a place where they had to defend a massive time bank from Shanghai against 1 tick because it was the overtime finish. Shanghai have never really been this close before, and this is a dominant first 2 games from them. It feels like everyone's just waiting to celebrate. You know, it feels like we're about to fall off the cliff of the first win.
It's really pent up right now. It's like shaking a champagne bottle. That cork's ready to pop.
Feels that way.
Let's see if Shanghai will be able to spill some bubbly after all of this, or if Boston Uprising can make the comeback of all comebacks.
Color Hex will start in the mirror versus Ding on this Sombra.
At least just a scout. We'll see if he wants to stick through with it. Seems like he is.
Seems that way. Huh?
Oh, okay, snap back. And will be the Zarya.
Okay, they are able to identify Shanghai's composition. Ding has been ripping them apart with this, you know, setup so far. And you can see he's got full vision right now. You can see Calyx is looking for him, identifies where he is. They feel safer now, knowing that Sombra's behind them.
Ooh, takes a lot of damage. Will be able to jump back. Keeps himself safe. Push up here into the upstairs for the Boston Uprising, trying to get closer and closer to Gamsu. Charge comes in. Gamsu going to be matching. They both hit the ground. First kill going to be going the way of the Dragons. Luffy takes down Axiom.
This is a very great start for the Dragons here. Ding not finishing the EMP, but getting about as close as you could get at 70% here. Boston Uprising is going to be forced away. Note, in a very precarious position, caught off from his team, boosts away.
Oh, get out of there, but oh! Luffy does it again! I'm telling you, this man looking
Underrated.
Jonak-esque right now versus Boston.
Very underrated flex support. He's been playing since Apex Season 2 very well. And for the Uprising on this next push, they're going to have to deal with the EMP again, right? It's always that support matchup. This time it's going to be Aim God, who needs to make sure he's not caught.
They're working their way outside.
He's lagging behind a little bit to make sure. As you can see, he backs away. He is the one who cannot be hit by this. And coming through this choke feels like suicide against an EMP. They're all asking to get hit by it.
They're trying to scout it out. EMP dumped in, catches pretty much everybody, but Aim God does manage to stay alive, gets that Transcendence off. Keeps the team in the fight. DM knocked down below half. Boston Uprising might actually be able to get in onto the point and start ticking up off the back of this.
It's a really good play by Aim God to preemptively trance, knowing the EMP would come out at that moment. Grabs up now.
Yeah, locking him up here onto the high ground. That's going to be Blase taking down Calyx. Receives a fire strike to the face. The rest of the team down on the low ground. Do manage to get that first tick coming through. They move up to nearly 42%. Luffy almost goes down. And will be able to stay alive, and Shanghai Dragons get the team kill.
Well, it's a very, you know, awkward position where you have this perfect setup with the trance preemptively done. You feel like you've countered the EMP, but you're still in a choke point. You're still taking fire strike damage from Gamsu. Shanghai Dragons still have the follow-up grab. This time they have 5 ults. 5 ults to approach with. If they can't make this one work, I think we're seeing a full hold.
We'll have to see how they fare. Pushing their way up, Ding getting closer to that next EMP. Shatter comes out, looking for the lockup. Sound barrier in. Coma will get popped after using the sound barrier by that self-destruct. Boston Uprising finally find a bit of an opening, but Axiom's gonna get taken down. It's at the expense of DM, however. Still trying to stay alive. Ding going lower and lower. EMP gonna be online for him. Throws it in. Catches a few of the remaining members, but yet again, Aim God keeps himself safe, gets the Transcendence to keep the rest of the squad alive. Thompson taken down. Sound barrier invested as well from Calyx. They will be able to clean this up. They'll get their way over onto the point. It seems like they will be able to get this cap, but they have to use a lot of ultimates, so the snowball potential for Boston is not really there.
It's not really there. The biggest thing they have going for them here on the 3rd time's the charm capture is the Color Hex versus Luffy matchup. There's a tiny window, but I just don't think he's going to be able to get that off in time. If he does do so, it's going to be a sloppy, aggressive play. Won't get the maximum value. Ding here already scouting the approach angle, and that means there's enough time for Luffy to reposition. If he gets one left click, it's going to be enough to get that trance up. 92% he sits at. His Color Hex will lock in the last part of this grab. Tossed it immediately.
From the Amiat, just thrown straight into the foot of Axiom. Cannot get that kill though. Answering grab's gonna be out. Transcendence is in from Luffy, keeps them all alive. Shatter comes through, locks up Gamsu. Doesn't find too much else. Gamsu going lower and lower, booped into the corner. Shield comes up. He's trying to stay alive. The push forward from Note, looking for the finish off. Hammer's gonna get dropped. It catches so many members on Boston. They cannot get the kills yet. EMP coming out. 5 members hacked by Ding, but no one able to scoop these kills. Color Hex with a sliver of HP for so very long, gets that armor pack, stays alive, and they might just get it. They do. Youngjin a bit too late to step down. Boston Uprising, they get the completion.
Shanghai Dragons a little bit late to touch the point here, and Boston is keeping the hopes alive right now. Very nice time bank going into the half here of this round.
Got 3:27 remaining for them. Shanghai, let's see what they can do on their attack when we come back from the break. .327 the time to beat for the Shanghai Dragons as they flip over and get ready for their attack. Boston Uprising stabilizing quite nicely here on Horizon.
Attackers incoming in
Very tense for the Uprising right now, but they finally have a pretty good position here if they can defend A and eliminate a lot of the time bank for Dragons, or potentially even full hold them here, prevent them from getting 2 spots, then they can shift the momentum back big time. We'll see the Winston variation here. And want more upfront damage in AoE. Looks like Calyx is set up here for potentially cutting off multiple members of the Dragon. So Calyx on the high ground gonna look to knock 2 away. They collapse in. If it fails, both Calyx and Axiom have mobility to escape. So it's not very all in what they're doing here. It's actually very safe. Scouted out already though, I believe, is a Tesla gun. I think Ding could have seen that just barely around the wall.
Not sure.
Not
Does
okay.
manage to sprint straight up the center, not get hit by anything. Gets the hack. Bubble comes down from the Zarya, trying to save his life. The Discord over there, and Ding gets the kill.
Huge play here. If you're hacked, you can't jump away. I talked about the mobility that he has. You know, the risk is there, but you can always jump away. Not if you're hacked. Ding waits until the follow-up damage is
He
there.
just now respawns. Aim God's gone. Shanghai Dragons push their way over to the point.
It's a disaster.
He even goes back. He's swapping over onto the Reinhardt. I think they know that this one is gone. Shanghai Dragons looking to start things off on Horizon with a 7+ minute time bank. As soon as they can get this finish here on A.
It just feels like the Uprising have not scrimmed against or did not have a lot of confidence against Sombra play in general, and it's just Ding over and over and over again. Gets the hack there onto the Winston.
But that's so confusing because Color Hex started off this series playing a fantastic Sombra.
That's true. It's just the counterplay isn't there.
They're used to dishing it out, not receiving it, I suppose.
Yeah, it's, you know, sometimes you're great at running something, but you're not good at defending against that same strategy. All right. Ding ready for the EMP here. No support ultimate.
Setting up for it, throws it down. 5 members gonna get caught, and Aim God does not have a Transcendence to speak of. It's about to be online, and he's gonna need it just to buy themselves some extra time. In onto the point, Shanghai Dragons, a second tick getting ready to come through. Aim God gonna go forward with the Transcendence, but it's not soon enough to keep Note in that mech, and now he's gotta retreat. Second tick comes down, 6 minutes, 18 seconds remaining. The shatter comes out from Gamsu. Not gonna find anything, but they get the grab in, they clean up Axiom, they get rid of Calyx, and it's just gonna be a matter of time at this point. Boston Uprising, no chance of stabilizing. 6:07, the final time for them as they get the finish here on Volskaya.
Crowd's going nuts here because this is an absolute stomp right now. Huge time bank, and we are very close to that potential win. I know we keep saying it, but it's coming true, it feels like.
Very, very close. Let's see if they can close out here on Horizon when we come back for OT. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This could be the crowning moment for the Shanghai Dragons. 6:07 in their time bank to 3:27 by Boston Uprising. It was looking good. It was looking like they were stabilizing here on Horizon. But Shanghai comes in and they show them up again.
I mean, we are looking at a 2.5 minute time bank advantage here, more than 2.5, 2:40 for the Boston Uprising, or rather against the Boston Uprising here for Shanghai. The deficit for the Uprising. ColorX will once again scout but not match the Sombra here. They're going to try to, hopefully, you know, in theory, keep their supports a little bit more safe, get those support ults off when they can. You can see Ding is just hacking the Diva and farming that EMP charge right now.
It goes decently low in the back line, so we'll jump back with the translocator. Up the staircase again for Boston. Working their way forward. Ding looking for an angle on the side. Not able to get too many shots in. Now trying to get the hack. He'll be able to have it on the color Hex, but he'll follow up to try to get that kill. DM going low, off screen, down below, half HP. Needs to get top back up. Seems like he will. Push over to the side. Hack in on a color Hex yet again. Not going to be seeing the follow-up. Already nearly 2 ticks surrendered over to Boston in this OT round. Axiom getting chunked out. Fire strike to the side. Gamsu clips him.
The sniper.
They gain the second tick, but Shanghai have to stay forward, to not surrender this point over Boston Uprising, starting to push back. Seems like they will be abandoning this attack.
They're so close.
And
yet
no,
so far,
this is going to get taken out.
The delay, massive here. Uprising losing time. And we're talking about 6:07 to 2:07, 4 minutes, the deficit now. The Shanghai Dragons took their last A on their first real push. Ding holds the EMP. And I know I sound like a broken record at this point, but it's him versus Kelix and Aim God. In particular, Aim God right now. This EMP is going to have to be shut down if Boston wants this push to be the one they get that final tick with. They're taking the outside approach. We saw this once before. Aim God's going to preemptively transcend it as they go in, but they're still at a positional disadvantage. This failed last time they tried it. Maybe the second time's the charm. Look at Ding trying to wait this time and hope the trance is early, but Aim God does not fall for it. He's actually holding it. Very smart play.
Well, goes ahead, throws it down now, but the transcendence will be there for Aim God. They knock him over onto the low ground. Shatter going to be coming out. Gamsu will be taken down. The sound barrier in from Kelix as they try to come out on top of this fight right now. Ding dropping down, gets stunned up instantly, and Blase comes up with a kill. Youngjin just going to be getting knocked around, will fall down, and Boston Uprising seems like they will be able to break through. They will get the cap on A. A minute and a half to try to get B.
They've got a decent amount of ultimates. The only problem is lack of support ults to get onto this point and stick to it in the longer fight. But they can certainly grab a tick if they get an opening kill. And ColorX has the grab here in just a moment. High energy.
Out. Axiom holding on to the shatter. Gamsu very far away from one. Round will come down, locks him in. Transcendence is going to be out.
Youngjin's
get
out.
Them alive. Youngjin's still going to get taken down despite the Transcendence. Now the sound barrier in from Coma. EMP catches everyone. 5-man going through. Back of Ding's ult, but Gamsu going to be the first one to fall. They do manage to find Note and take him out of the back. Aim God now with another Transcendence online, pops it immediately to keep himself alive. Graviton Surge comes in, locks up the remaining members of Boston, but they need to get those kills. Youngjin and Blase both going to be hitting the ground. Zarya Bubble comes through. They manage to find the opposing Brig. Now, no, they get burned out. Shatter comes in as Axiom returns to the fight. Gamsu gets a charge. Looks for the finish there on a color Hex. He's unable to find it. They're just ticking up in the meantime. 30 seconds remaining. Blase swapping over onto the Wrecking Ball just to rejoin in with his squad. Ding going to be taken down. Luffy eliminated as well. And with 24 seconds left, Boston Uprising will get the double cap.
And they continue to keep the hopes alive here. Very, very low time bank. You know, we're talking 30 seconds or less here for them, but it is absolutely possible that we could have a momentous hold here. You know, we can't write the check for Shanghai Dragons victory just yet. They still have to nail the landing here.
Yep. Don't want to ride it now and have that check bounce, but still poised to take this. We'll go ahead and get a look at Axiom's rejoin.
Yeah, this was a huge play. Underestimation from the Dragons as well. You could see Gamsu is just, he realizes too late. He's like, uh-oh, I'm not actually where I need to be.
Yep.
And then he tries to rush in, but it's too late. Very quick thinking here by Axiom. Makes the play happen. Keeps the hopes alive. For the Boston Uprising, it would be huge to take this win now, get the reverse sweep. But they're still so far behind. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It feels hopeless here for the Uprising. 24 seconds, the time bank. You know, Shanghai Dragons, if they hold them for 6:07 and win this map, it will go down in history.
Yeah.
You know?
Do that and then start a reverse sweep. What a story that would be. I think a lot of our live audience would be a little bit disappointed with that one, though.
Let's not put Chekhov's gun in the room just yet,
Yeah.
Achilios. Here we go, 6:07 to start, and Ding just going to continue to use the Sombra. The Uprising has had so much trouble dealing with. It's gonna look for farm EMP off mostly Note here at the start. Hacks onto Hex if possible. Color Hex, not the Commentator Hex, who is Color, as it turns out. But anyway,
That's true.
it can avoid the or it can force out no bubbles. It's really easy to engage, and also means that Color X can't build energy. So that's one of the ways that you can harass with Sombra.
Well, safe entry through the hatch doors there. Jump up over to the top, Axiom. Be landing. It's gonna be a wraparound. Shanghai Dragons pretty split up right now. Look at where Gomsu's at.
Yeah, look at the wraparound here for Youngjin too. They want to tackle Axiom, force him off the high ground. It works out. Nice respect here from Boston Uprising. They've won a lot of time here already. A whole minute is gone.
But now they're in onto the point, and this is where they have to fight. One tick, nearly gained for free. They finally do step in onto the point. Luffy gonna be the first one taken down. Axiom comes up with that kill, but no. So close to being knocked out of that mech, but seems like he might just be able to survive as Gomsu will be taken down. AimGod gets himself a double kill.
Huge plays by Blase and AimGod. We saw the Harmony Orb and the Burst Pack coming there to keep him alive. And Boston Uprising wins this fight with Winston attacking into a Reinhardt, one of the toughest things to do because the Ryan is always going to have that advantage. He's locked in place, does more damage there in a fight where he has the positional advantage. But they turn it around. AimGod's going to have the trance here. Ding, not even really close to that EMP as it turns out. So this is the best case scenario for Boston already, but it's still going to be 4.5 minutes more they have to keep it up for. And I'll be shattered here.
Pushing forward, very speedy here on that push. Shield up, just blocking out as much damage as he possibly can, but the shield's gonna get broken. Back in onto the point, Graviton Surge gonna be coming down, and Color Hex looking to lock them up, and Luffy responds with the Transcendence. Shatter's gonna be out from Gomsu. Locking up at least one. Will be knocking Note out of that mech. Get one tick onto the point, 4 minutes remaining at the moment. They clean up the Baby Diva, but they need to get onto the point. They need to get this cap rolling through.
All right.
Been a nice time by so far for the Boston Uprising.
Double support ultimates for the Uprising, so they have a good way to get back on this point and stick to it if they want to contest. Kellick's just buying time.
Ding trying to return with that EMP. Coma gonna be dropping the beat. Almost gets taken out before he can hit the ground there. But does manage to get the shields up for his squad. Axiom jumping back in. Gonna rejoin. Second tick now gonna be gained for Shanghai. EMP still being held. They would love to hold this for the snowball, but they have to use it right now. Axiom gonna be taken down instantly on the back of that Sombra ultimate. Blase very far forward, gonna get locked up by the Graviton Surge out from DM. Finish him off. They do manage to find two, however. Color Hex trying to grind this back into their favor as he gets rid of Luffy and Youngjin. Shanghai Dragons, 2 members remaining here. Shots coming out. They actually gonna be held off.
Huge plays by Kellick's throughout this series. He hit the sound barrier when he needed to. I know we had that replay of him on King's Row where he barely got clipped. Perhaps people will be critical of him after that, but to be honest, he's hit a lot of these barriers. He hits this last one exactly the way it needs to be. Boston can turn it around because Color Hex has high energy after that. Dig now halfway to another EMP, but the time is ticking down. What looked like a free win now starts to feel like it's slipping from the Shanghai Dragons here.
Moving their way closer and closer with 2.5 minutes left on the clock. Shatter gonna be online. Tries to drop it. Manages gonna lock up here onto Kellick's, but they don't have the kill onto the enemy Lucio. Transcendence now gonna be used for Luffy as they push their way forward onto the point. EMP instantly gonna be invested. 4 members hacked out. Nope, gonna be knocked out of that mech before he can use the self-destruct to get back through. They'll clean up the kills. Shanghai Dragons, they finally break through. They finally get A.
They've got a great time bank here now to open up B. Kellick's caught there. The shield deleted by the EMP of Ding. AimGod, though, luckily for the Uprising, still gets to hold on to this Transcendence. So this is not going to be the push you would have to think unless someone gets picked at range. DM's grab will be countered, and what happens next is all up to the Dragons.
Pushing their way forward, building up that energy. Graviton Surge is going to be locked right in over the wall. They're looking for Kellick to try to finish him off. They manage to get him. Youngjin coming up with a kill despite the Transcendence out from AimGod. Now that's going to be expiring. DM taking a nap. Sound barrier is going to be out. Nope, dumping the bomb. Will not find a pick. Sound barrier in from the Dragons. Pushing back forward, hack onto Axiom. So very low, they can't quite finish him off, however. He will be able to stay alive.
EMP ready.
No, it's gonna be knocked out of the back. Ingot taken down to the back of the EMP. Gumster swinging away like a madman. Gets a kill onto the enemy Ryan. Color Hex, the sliver of HP, trying to push forward, but they keep zoning him back. Now Kellex is gonna be eliminated. Somebody's gotta tag in. They have to do it right now. Color Hex booped up the point, locked up, taken down, and Shanghai Dragons, they get the double cap here on Volskaya.
We are now going into final rounds. So incredibly close here. Boston showing signs of life. A very nice defense here. What we said was virtually impossible moments ago now feels doable. This series is not over yet by any means. Great holds, good positioning by Kellex. They're starting to finally feel out the Sombra play. They're starting to finally find the answers. Shanghai Dragons may want to consider swapping Ding off the Sombra here if they want to close this series out. It's been going great for them up until this second round here, these extra rounds on Lunar Colony. That's where things have started to slip a little bit. They still get the double cap and they still have the better time bank, but the advantage is much less than it was previously.
2:17 to 1 minute for Boston Uprising. This could still result in a draw, you know, really.
Certainly could. It certainly could. For the Uprising here...
I mean, they need to avoid that. They need to get the victory.
Yeah, and for the Uprising here, the ideal case on this attack is to finish A. If they're going to run a Color Hex on this Sombra.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. One map from the
Have
3-0.
never had a lead like this.
If Color Hex can finish A, if they can win it without him EMPing and then walks into B with the EMP, that is how Boston Uprising finishes this with 6 points. That is the way. No checks for enemy Sombra around here. The crowd chants for the Shanghai Dragons. They want this win. It's been a long time.
They're ready to see it.
43 games. Maybe the 43rd, that is the big one.
43rd time's the charm, Wolf.
That's what the Shanghai Dragon fans say. All right,
Ding.
here we go. Ding unscouted.
Yep.
They do see where he is now.
Get on
Color
the side.
swapped over to Zarya.
Has that jump back here from Ding, rejoining with the rest of his squad. Keller's going forward, stunned up, hacked out, but no one able to get the kill.
Blase with a huge heal there to keep him alive.
Boston onto the point. They managed to get one tick already with 15 seconds remaining. Shanghai Dragons, they can't really allow them to get more. They still only have 2:17 in their time bank. It's not going to be the biggest number. Looking for the hack, unable to find it. Jumps back down, has to go out with the translocator. Axiom going to be taken out. Color Hex going to be eliminated. They push back over onto the point, keeping this one contested. Can they stop it right here? DM with a sliver of HP, trying to stay alive. They push forward. They find Blase. They get rid of him. The armor pack goes out. Youngin keeping his team alive, keeping the hopes alive for the Shanghai fans. You've got using the Transcendence, but the Graviton Surge comes in. The EMP on top of it. Throw every single ult you got just to seal the deal. 79.5% is what they need to beat. Shanghai are less than a point away from getting their first match win.
2 minutes and 17 seconds will feel like the shortest time that any Shanghai Dragon fan has ever seen. It is going to be a tense, potentially 2 minutes or less here as we head into what could be history in the making. You know, I had my concerns, I had my doubts about Ding continuing to play the Sombra here. It felt figured out. We saw the swap of Color X there onto Zarya, but the coordination was too good for the Dragons. They split Boston Uprising in half on the point, and that's all she wrote for their attack. Still an impressive attack for 1 minute, 79.5, and this is by no means over.
Still a chance to hold this off. Boston could come up with a victory, but you know what? If Shanghai can close this out right here, Wolf, we are never going to hear the end of it from Bren. He was the only one who said that they would win today, and he is gonna tout that Oracle nonsense for the rest of his career.
Yeah, you know, to be honest, I couldn't say, like, I didn't actually make an official prediction on this one. But the Dragons have come in strong. No one could have known that Ding was just going to dismantle everyone. Here we go. Shanghai counting down, the Shanghai fans rather counting down. The doors opening because we are so close.
79.5%, ladies and gentlemen. That is what they need to take their first match victory. Are you guys ready to see him take it? Ding up top. Maybe spraying away. Color Hex going oh so low. They had hacked him out, might have been able to get it. Now he's going to be isolated. Gamsu goes low. They haven't finished up the Zarya. We're going to hack it on the Axiom. Ting takes it out. They're down on the point, starting to tick their way up. The first one getting ready to come through. As it comes down, Youngshin staying alive. Kellick's knocked down a half HP. The first tick going to be gained.
You can feel it.
Almost there, pushing from the back. They're ticking up again. Note's going to be hacked. He's going to be taken out of the mech. Finished off.
It's happening.
This could be it. The second tick getting ready to come through. Kellick's going to be eliminated. Transcendence is out from Aim God, but it's going to expire. They will be able to finish him off.
There you go.
They're going to get it. Just a couple more percent to go. Let them have it, Boston. Hexium, top of the primal range, but it does not matter. Ladies and gentlemen, history has been made. The Shanghai Dragons, on the 43rd attempt out, managed to pick up their first match victory.
Never thought, you know, the fans never thought they'd see this day. It took 43 matches in Gamsu defeating his old team tonight. Feels like a really emotional moment here, but I think we got to give the crowd their moment. They've waited a long time for this. All the Shanghai fans out there, fans in tears. They finally did it.
I'll just let the fans take us out to the break. Enjoy it.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Man, I'm at a loss for words. It's been a long time coming. The fans ecstatic in the arena. Hugs being shared between Shanghai fans. I've even seen Boston fans high-fiving him, giving him a hug. They know, you know what? It's time. It's been too damn long. They finally got the win. The 43rd attempt. Shanghai, the 068 meme is obliterated.
It's gone forever, and I have to say, you know, it doesn't matter whether, you know, it's this new roster, it's the old roster. I think every old member of the Shanghai Dragons who's no longer part of the roster is going to be so proud that their team was able to do it. Gregory backstage probably super hyped to see that they finally made it through.
Of course.
The series isn't over, but the streak is broken. We will have one final map of Rialto to see if they can make it a 4-0. Maybe it's the beginning of a winning streak for the Dragons.
I mean, we already made history with the match win. Why not go ahead and break another record for him and get him to 4-0? Boston going to be trying to avoid that, but already, what a statement to be made by Shanghai and Gamsu especially.
Yeah, you know, Gamsu, He's got to feel vindicated after defeating his team and all the drama that surrounded his trade to the Shanghai Dragons. I mean, his name isn't on his jersey. That's how little time he's been with the team. But at the same time, you know, he gets to make a statement here. Had a big impact in this, you know, this moment where they've won it. So gotta feel a lot of emotions for the Uprising players here as well to be the first team to lose to the Dragons as well as lose to their former teammate.
I mean, so many people have said, prepare hard for that matchup because you don't want to be the one, but Boston, they drew the short straw, it seems. Axiom stunned up right here at the start. Thing gonna be able to come up with a kill. Note now popped out of the mech. The tank line gonna be decimated as Dragons continue the dominance at the start of Rialto.
Yeah, hands off the keyboards for a lot of the Boston members here as the respawns come through. Absolute domination here as their spawn camp dings on the Sombra again. And I think they're probably already thinking about all the footage they're going to be watching of this match in particular to try to improve their counter Sombra play. Kelix's positioning has been good against EMPs, but generally speaking, they're unable to track where Ding is at any given moment in time, and it's costing them big.
They're pushing back forward. Shanghai Dragons not backing down. Go back for a moment here. Give up a little bit of extra space, but can just keep the cart now in this choke, play around the corner, try to reroute Boston through the building.
Axiom trying to get that fire strike percent, 24 away.
Transcendent's gonna be out from Aim God, leading the charge shatter. Coming down from Gamsu, not gonna be able to find anything. Kite back though, respect being shown by Boston. Note with a nice takeaway onto DM's grab.
Yeah, it's gonna make this next attack really difficult. Okay, EMP here,
Ooh.
no counter support.
So close to being found.
Doesn't need to use it here for this fight just yet.
Oh, we'll just go ahead. Throws it down. 5 members going to be caught. Aim God already used the Transcendence, so why not go ahead and dump the Sombra ult. Cleanup will come through.
It's the easy team fight win if you get the massive EMP. You know there's no support ultimates there, so commit it when you have the opportunity. Could have held it for a more tense moment or a big contest. As it turns out, they use it here. Boston Uprising is going to come back with nearly 5 ultimates. But I guess it's the safest way to go about things. Get a free team fight win when you hit that EMP and there's no answer. As we move into the next attack for the Boston Uprising, their big tool is going to be the grab. And unfortunately, Luffy does have the Transcendence. He's about to build
Forward.
it.
Nearly has this one online.
Misses both right clicks and the third.
Keeps catching the shield. Will finally just go ahead and tick up normally to get the ult. Does have it ready to roll. Oh, he's been used. Grab gonna be locking him up. Looking for the kill. Shatter gonna be coming down. Kelix the first one to fall right before he can get that sound barrier up. And that is gonna be the fight going again to the side of the Shanghai Dragons. Another EMP getting ready to be online for Ding.
The silver lining here, and it's a thin lining, is that Luffy used his Transcendence to make sure that the Shanghai Dragons could positionally have an advantage there. Double support ultimates also against Ding's EMP, so if Kelix and Aim God don't get caught, there's a huge opportunity to win a team fight crushingly and take A. If they fail though, or if the supports get caught by the EMP, it's a full hold.
Right up into the front. Oh, gonna be sunned up. He does manage to jump back, holds onto the EMP for now. Bomb's gonna be out in the back of the grab, looking for a pickoff, not gonna be able to find it. Thompson going lower and lower, trying to stay alive.
Both
Back in the back of the EMP, will be taken down. Both supports caught up in it, as you say. Kelix like, nah, I'm just gonna keep it.
I think in that moment, Boston got a false sense of security. When we did see Blase get the stun there onto Ding, it felt like it was over. We can commit the grab. We've got this fight. They've already used their support ultimates, but it was not to be the case. And as soon as Ding got a health pack and came back, boom, hits both support ults. They have them now for the longer fight here.
12 seconds remaining. Sound barrier to open things up. Aim God still going to be holding on to that Transcendence. Now has to use it on the back of the grab. Looking for the pin. They take him out. Kelix just going to be belted down inside the grab. Despite all the healing coming through. Transcendence out from Luffy. Now they push their way forward. Shatter's going to be coming down. Binds 2 on the ground. Axiom going to be taken down. The hack still coming in from Ding. And that should just be it as they take note down. A full hold on Rialto. Shanghai Dragons looking to close this series out with a 4-0.
Blase's birthday, it's Color Hex's debut match after his suspension ends, but all the glory is stolen away. How can you blame Boston for going 0-4 here? They're just one failed defense away from it, but it does feel bad if you're a Boston fan.
Well, Shanghai on the cusp of that 4-0. Let's see if they can get it when we come back. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Again, history has already been made, but we're going to take it one step further as Shanghai Dragons look for their first victory with a 4-0 to boot.
Yeah, coming in together. It's a package deal tonight, it feels. And, you know, how can you blame the Uprising after that third map? Just kind of stumbling through this last one here. Sure, it matters for map indicator points, you know, the differential. At the end of the day, it would be amazing to win this one. They're going to have to defend for a long time before that happens. They are going to try to spawn camp here. It's a very risky and tricky strategy. Ding, if he spots us out early, which he does.
Oh, yep, and he says, hey,
they see it.
They're all right there, guys. Turn over to the side. They should have seen this one coming, you would expect. Looking for the hook.
Oh!
Off the side, Zarya Bubble, but Zarya Bubble is not going to save you from the canal. I'm getting a little too far ahead of myself here, it would seem. But yeah, this forward defense not going to do anything for the Uprising.
100% hook accuracy so far for DM. 68% of a whole hog. He is just knocking him down.
He doesn't even mind.
Nope.
Doesn't care. He's just going to surrender that.
Well, they won that exchange so well and built up so many ults from it. Like, Gamsu's at 60% nearly here. They just want to cross the finish line. That's what it feels like. For the Uprising, nothing, I mean, literally nothing, Frame God and Kelix. And that's what they need to hold this for a long time.
Already a lot of damage there on a Blase. Axiom getting stunned up. Gamsu, however,
it's surrounded.
Will get picked off.
Hey, that's a start. Huge opening here now.
Yep.
And they shut down the follow-up shadow that was going to happen. Kelix, Name God, get 60 and 50 respectively on those support ultimates that are going to be so critical in buying further time. The support ults are always the way you could turn lost fights or prolong fights. Force ultimates to be used. When you have a huge time bank like this, it's rough.
Aggro push forward here is Blase.
Okay.
Uses the rally, and everybody's going to be going for a dip here. Coma just managed to find Axiom in the end. But overall, good push forward from Boston.
Starts to feel like parts of Lunar Colony, where the Shanghai Dragons kind of dropping the ball on a few of these fights, but Uprising, they've got Kelix's sound barrier online now, and this is one of the main tools they can use to shut down the ensuing EMP and then get through another minute of time bank. Kelix has been really good at staying in the right spot. See him up there at the top on the high ground? It's no way he can be hit by the EMP at the moment. They have no idea where he is.
Yeah, Ding has not been able to find him. Might be able to hear him above. A lot of game sounds going on, obviously, though. EMP will be dumped in. Neither support going to be caught. Sound barrier not online yet. They managed to get Axiom before Kelix can have it ready. Graviton Surge comes down, locks up the Shanghai Dragons. Sound barrier's out, however, on the back of the Transcendence, so they're still alive and in the fight. And God countering back with a Transcendence of his own. Luffy going to get tagged up. Kelix goes forward, manages to find the kill. So very close to closing this one out. Grav comes out solo on the color Hex. They finish him off. 2.85 left to go. Gamsu holding on to the Shatter, waiting for his moment. They're trying to push them over the finish line. Dumps it in, but the shield is going to be up. Answering Shatter out from Axiom. So far, no one going to be taken down. Just going to be Notes Mech lost on the side of Boston as they try to stay in the fight.
Scariest thing is this final EMP here at Achilios.
Really ready to go. He's pushing up. Oh, stunned out of it. Massive play by Blase. The nice at one. Again, going to be done.
It looks like they may hold this too.
They are holding on. Gamsu going to be taken down.
2 times in a row, shutting down these big EMPs and these chokes. Blase has had enough of Ding Sombra. And now, you know, this is the last shot for the Dragons to get their first 4-0 here. And look at the support ultimates, Luffy and Coma. You know, they don't have those, so it's actually starting to look a little bit hopeless for the Dragons right now. Axiom gets hacked.
DM trying to be a little sneaky here. Doesn't have the grab up, though.
Do or die here for the Dragons. It needs to be an efficient fight.
30 seconds left to go. Just a couple meters away. Grab nearly up for DM. 14% more. Bomb's going to be out from Note. Looking for a pick. Not going to be able to find it. Axiom goes pretty far forward, but the armor pack comes through, and he will be able to stay alive. Ding taken low. Rally's out. Graviton Surge going to be thrown in. Note not going to be able to deny this one this time. They get the pin on the Axiom. They cannot get the kill. The Transcendence coming in a bit late for Aim God, but still manages to keep his team alive. Responding Grav is going to be out. Locks him up. Luffy using A transcendence of his own.
He's
Dick's gonna
down.
be picked off. No EMP in the fight now. Coma still holding on to the sound barrier, trying to drop the beat. Will be able to do so. Catches all 5 remaining members.
Axiom,
They
he's got
try
the
to wait
shatter.
for that Somber to come back through. Note going low. Shatter's hit coming down from Axiom. Gamsu gonna be taken out now. Youngchan pin in, looking for Coma. They get pushed away, and Boston Uprising will be able to stop them here on Rialto. They cannot get the 4-0 finish.
And this really speaks to Boston's ability to just stay calm under so much pressure. I mean, they're the first team to lose to Shanghai. It was almost a 4-0, but you know what? Big ups to Boston for hanging it through.
Yep, still get that fuller hold, as we like to call it, to bounce back. But Shanghai Dragons get to go shake hands with their opponents for the first time
As victors.
in this fight.
Very much a historic moment tonight.
It's great to see the hugs coming through for Gamsu as well.
Yeah, from his former teammates. This is just as wholesome as it gets. What a happy series. Happy ending all across the board here. For Boston, they're certainly going to be taking a look at some Sombra footage as they head into their future matches, but still, you can't hate it when you get that 4th map win. You can't hate how this went.
Nope. Final handshake comes through. I mean, you gotta imagine it's just utter elation for these guys right now. But guys, let's go ahead, throw down to Danny Lim on the floor and hear from some of the Dragons.
Thank you guys so much. Blizzard Arena, make some noise for Shanghai Dragons! You guys have finally done it. And, you know, I heard that, Kirkbride, you were actually a little bit shook and emotional. And I'm sure this win has a lot of meaning for you. What does it mean for Shanghai Dragons and for you, this win? 이번 지금 우승이 좀 굉장히 좀 특별한 좀 의미가 있을 것 같아요. 개구리 선수에게는 이 우승이 어떤 의미가 있나요?
연패 부담감 때문에 좀 많이 팀원들도 힘들었었는데 같이 이겨내줘서 진짜 고맙고 앞으로 더 많은 발전을 할 수 있다고 생각합니다. 진짜 감사합니다. 믿고 계속 응원해주신 팬분들 감사합니다.
Thank you guys, everyone. So thank you for all the support, and through thick and thin, you guys were always there. We were actually, suffering from the losing streak, but now we have won, so we're gonna continue on. Thank you so much, Kirkbride. Gamsu, your first win from the Shanghai team, and also you guys faced off against your former team, Boston Uprising. Do you have anything you want to say to the Boston team? 자, 상하이로 오셔서 이제 또 처음으로 이기게 됐는데 그 중에서 또 저번 팀이었던 보스턴 팀과의 경기에서 이긴 거잖아요. 감수 선수, 보스턴 팀에게 한 말씀 부탁드릴게요.
원래 평소에도 이기면 기분이 너무 좋은데 보스턴이 이기서 더 기쁘고 또 연패를 끊었잖아요. 이제 이 기세 타면 더 잘할 수 있을 것 같습니다.
Well, every time that we win, I am very happy, but this one is a bit more special because I just beat my former team, Boston Uprising, and I feel like we could really keep this momentum going. Thank you guys so much. Alrighty, that's it, everybody. Give it for Shanghai Dragons. Back to you guys, work for the Achilios.
Thank you very much, Danny. Good to hear from those two. And vindication is the word that you threw out earlier. I think it's the best word to use here for Gamsu, getting that win against his former team after the surprise trade and everything coming out. So I can't even imagine how he's feeling right now, but it's got to be pretty darn good.
It certainly must be. The 3rd map is where it all happened when we had Horizon, and that was by far, by the way, the closest map we had in this series. So. Yeah. If we take a look back at Horizon Lunar Colony, you're going to see there were some moments where the momentum was taken away from the Shanghai Dragons, but they were able to close it out. It was the winning map.
Yeah, I mean, it was utterly close at some points. I mean, despite the time bank advantage over to the side of the Dragons, Uprising, they put up one heck of a defense, drained that clock down, and really made them struggle for it by the end.
And I think that's the big story here, right, is Boston's resilience throughout this series where they were the major underdogs in terms of the fans cheering against them, right? They were able to still keep themselves in decent position. They really made Shanghai earn that win on Horizon, and then they were still able to come back in 4. But let's take a look at some of these winning moments here. Luffy having such good damage output. Axiom hits the shatter here where things got a little bit out of hand. They were able to get that 4th point, which kept the series going. Their defense then, which took so much, 4+ minutes off of the 6-minute time bank of the Dragons.
Yeah, really worked that one down, Boston. We're fighting tooth and nail to try and just start getting some kind of momentum, try to turn around the series in some way, but unfortunately for them, they were not able to do so. Shanghai Dragons, their resilience, and they're getting their backs pushed against the wall. They managed to persevere, and come out on top.
Gonna watch this final moment here where the EMP comes through, but two are already dead. We'll see the EMP is kind of the cherry on top here as he launches it down. The story of this match was definitely Ding and his control of the Sombra and how Gamsu and team played around him. The crowd insanely hyped. No one can believe it really happened, but tonight it did.
Fantastically done. You gotta be feeling pretty darn good about that one. But guys, let's go ahead and hear from Emily, who I hear has some insights. Got to speak to the Dragons after their victory. So let's go ahead and see how they're feeling about it.
That's right, Wolf and Achilios. I was able to catch up with the team shortly after their win, and they got so emotional. I'm really happy for them. And when I asked them, well, how did you guys prepare going into this match? They said, we just treated it like any other day, just went out to lunch, took a walk, and they did amazing. And then I also asked them, well, now that you guys finally broke your losing streak, what is the next goal? And they said, we're gonna try to win more games and try to make it to the playoffs this year. All right, back to you, casters.
Thank you very much. Make it to the playoffs indeed. One step closer to having that happen. And Gamsu, you know, seems like he's doing pretty good. He's got a 50% win rate at the moment on the Dragons. So we'll see if he can maintain those stats. But let's go ahead and figure out who our player of the match is. A lot of different options, of course, presented by Omen by HP. And it's going to be Ding.
It has to be Ding. I mean, he just completely changed the way that this series was played with his EMPs. In total, he ended up with a massive amount of them. We checked in going into the third map. It was something like 55 enemies EMPs. We know there's way more that happened in the ensuing maps as well.
Yeah, this guy, his stats were just absolutely disgusting. I mean, pretty much everybody gets a shout out for their participation in this matchup. Luffy especially fragging out on that Zenyatta, fantastically done by him. But Ding taking a look. Enemies hacked 152, enemies EMP'd 89.
Feels like a record stat. I don't know if we'll ever see something like this again.
That is just some of the most disgusting Sombra play that I have ever seen. So very well-deserved player of the match. But guys, it finally happened. It's finally over. They got the win. And I think we just have to, you know, raise a toast to the Shanghai Dragons. Congratulations on the win. May many more come your way. So cheers.
Congratulations, Shanghai Dragons.
You've done it. I'm gonna take a little sip of this. That's some good old
Tastes
water.
like the first victory.
Tastes like victory. But guys, we got one more match coming up for you today. Houston Outlaws versus Hangzhou Sparks. So make sure you don't go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered.